Greetings, everyone. Good afternoon, and welcome to the Tawnya Love Show. It has been a really beautiful week here in Vancouver, and I was just chatting with Amnon, and not quite as amazing there where he's at, but it's shifting. So, hoping we're calling in some sunny weather for you guys on the East Coast. So, whoever is watching, wherever you are, I'm wishing you lots of love and hope the weather is peaceful and enjoyable. Here, it's just spring is definitely in the air. I just see all the animals are all Twitter-peated and daffodils coming up, and it's really gorgeous. So I'm very grateful for that. Um, this over this last week, you know how I work, where I just kind of live in the now and wait to see what's the next topic. What are we going to talk about? And last night, I had a dream, and when I woke up this morning, I just had all this consciousness streaming in right when I awakened or woke up, whatever that word should be. When I woke up, I basically knew exactly what we are going to be talking about, and it was the angels guiding me to connect again on ascension. Even though we've done a show on this in the past, sometimes we need repetition. Sometimes we need the same message delivered 20 times before it really clicks, and we don't just grasp it intellectually, but we really understand how to embody it. And this weekend, I had an Empowering the Empath mentorship class, and some of the women, they were bringing up some of the stuff that they were struggling with, and one of the girls that was very courageous to be vulnerable with us and share her truth, she was really expressing how frustrated she felt and how she felt like no matter what she was doing, she was getting stuck again. And she was just kind of pissed and like, I'm just done, Tawnya. I don't know what to do. And how do I break free of this? And I'm tired of suffering, and I'm tired of this frustration and this struggle. And I felt so much compassion for her, and I felt her energy, and we kind of were tuning into what was going on there. And almost like as a mentor for her, I felt like there was a part of her that felt like she was going to let me down, that she was letting us down, letting people down. And I felt like what she needed to understand was to just be gentle with herself and to really just honor herself and to move in a nice, easy flow with evolution instead of feel like, I'm not getting it right. I'm not doing it perfect. I'm not where they are. And I feel like as a mentor, as someone who I have learned how to master a lot of the things I'm talking about, and I really like kind of identify with the characters like Yoda or Gandalf, like they're leading others with their light. They're the torchbearers. They're the ones that have really had to master their own journey to get to a place where they can guide others and they can help them. And when we're in that place, if we're the one being mentored, sometimes we can look at that person like we want to be like that now, and we're pissed that we're not. And it can really be a distraction because when we start to compare to each other, I feel comparison is one of the quickest paths to suffering. Because if I compare to someone else and I think I'm failing because they get something, I am really going to be hard on myself, and this perfectionism energy will start to flow. And I really feel that as we're moving through all of these ascension symptoms and this ascension journey with evolution, we really will benefit from being gentle with ourselves. So, what I was encouraging this girl in particular to look at was, when you're in school, if you're in sixth grade, let's say you're in sixth grade and you're looking at someone who's a senior in high school, and they just seem to know a lot and they seem to understand a lot and they're so mature, and you really look at them and you admire them and you want to be like them. But if you don't honor where you are, it can really cause a lot of suffering. And then now, instead of you mastering where you are, you start to just feel suffering where you're not. And it's such a distraction from actually living authentically and in alignment. And so what I was encouraging them to realize is that there are those who are going to come on their path to assist them. And it is really a beautiful thing to have others that are at different levels of consciousness that can come in and help us. But if we start to compare to them in a way that seems like we're not getting it and we're not good enough, and there's something wrong with us because we aren't masters yet. Oh, I feel like there's like a hair on my tongue. Sorry. There's like a fuzz on my tongue. When we do that, it is actually very distracting, and it can really cause us to go several steps backwards on our path instead of staying in a progression forward. So, one of the books I've referred this book to so many people through my life. I seriously, I'm trying to remember when this book was even written, if it even says on here. But this book is called The Four Agreements, and I'm going to hold it up. And I discovered this book years ago, and I love Miguel Ruiz. I just feel like he speaks so simply, and there's so much when we're teaching others wisdom and truth. It's often so simple, and it doesn't need to be complicated or complex. But our ego minds really want complexity, and they want things to be hard, and you got to work hard and you got to earn your way. And if that's what you want to do, feel free to go that path. But I truly, from my perspective of life, feel that the simple ways are often the most amazing little nuggets you can grasp is the simplicity. And in this book, the reason I'm referring to it right now is even if you have it and you've read it before, I encourage you to read it again because sometimes we might have read this amazing book and then we just put it on the shelf and we completely forget the wisdom that was there and we're not living it, we're not embodying it. So if you are not doing any of these four things and you have any suffering in your life, I encourage you to really listen to them today. Perhaps go get this book again, go look for it on your bookshelf and start to make a what is the word I'm looking for? Set an intention every day to live with these agreements. And if you really choose to move forward with awareness and you live with this intention, I promise you the drama will leave your life. I know this because of my own journey. It's not just a theory like, oh, good luck to you guys. I hope if you read that, it might help. I literally have lived my life in this way to where this took quite a process. And where you see Tawnya at today, speaking and having wisdom and seeming to be so at peace and at ease, was quite a journey to get to this place. And so, if you don't compare with that and you just feel honor and reverence for it, and you see myself as a mirror to you, someone mirroring to you this understanding and this embodiment, that is really going to be the swiftest path for you to step in and embody this in your own way. So rather than if we see someone that's got it figured out and they understand something and then we're just jealous of them or we're frustrated by them or we feel like we're going to let them down and so we start criticizing ourselves, if we can just look at those who are really shining, look at those who have figured something out and they're mastering it, and feel honor for the fact that they're in our life, feel honor for the fact that they are mirroring to us the guidance, and make use of it rather than waste your energy being jealous or petty or competitive. It is such a distraction. And your ego wants that. Your ego wants you to suffer. It wants you to compete. It wants you to compare. It wants you to think you're better than. It wants you to feel less than. It loves suffering. So, one of the first things, like I mentioned many times in our shows, is that we have to get to this place where we can laugh at our ego. We can hear it for what it is, this nasty little vicious voice inside that is always hungry and is always wanting us to suffer. And we stop feeding that energy. We stop buying into it. We stop giving it energy. We stop catering to it. And we start to tune in and really honor the intuition. We start to honor ourselves. We start to look at, rather than me worry about where everyone else is, how am I doing today? I feel like I'm doing really well. Even though I'm not mastering that yet, I am on the path to understanding. Every day I'm getting better. Every day I'm a better painter. Every day I'm a better listener. Every day I am becoming more compassionate, more understanding. This is going to help you have leaps and bounds forward in your evolution compared to sitting there saying, oh, why are they doing it and I'm not doing it? How come they have money and I don't have money? How come she's got it figured out and I don't? Oh, I don't like her. I don't even want to be around her. She's too perfect. And so I don't even like that. I'm just going to go and, be, messed up and complain and be mad at the people who are figuring it out. All these things we choose are very much either a choice into stepping into our alignment and it's going to help us grow and evolve and love ourselves, or the dialogue in our mind is causing us to feel enslaved. It's causing us to feel helpless. It's causing us to feel hopeless, victim consciousness. So in the book, there's these four agreements, and they're pretty damn awesome. And they are not as easy to master as they may sound. But I tell you, if you focus every day with awareness on making sure that you are following these, maybe print them out and put them on your bathroom mirror, write them in your journal. But as you practice living in the alignment with these agreements, it will profoundly shift your living experience. It will profoundly shift your movie. And what once caused you so much drama and suffering will not have any weight. It will not have any power in your life anymore. So the first agreement is to be impeccable with your word. I cannot tell you how many people I observe that struggle because they do not have integrity. I have had clients that do this. I have family members who do this. I see people at the grocery store do this. Unfortunately, on our planet, humans really like to lie. And they do it because many of them, most of them, are not truly living in their power. They're not being authentic. So when something comes up, they say yes to a lot of things, and they really should learn to say no, or they should learn to answer in a way of, let me see how that flows, and I would love to come, and if I can, I will. But what humans need to work on is really owning their power and knowing that they have a right to choose what they want to choose. And when they say something and they give a commitment to something, then follow through with it. Because what I've observed is the humans that say stuff like, oh, I'm going to help you with this, or oh, I'll be there for you, or I'll give you this, I'll pay you money for that. The ones that promise these things and then they don't deliver them, it causes them damage. It causes disruption and distraction and chaos with all the people in their life that are actually counting on them. And so what will happen is eventually a person that continues to say they're going to do something and they don't follow through, they start to create a reputation where no one believes in them. No one counts on them. No one, it's like people just kind of expect, oh, Sally said it. Yeah, that shit ain't going to happen. And it's because they're not showing, can't talk. They are not being impeccable. They are not having integrity. So I feel personally integrity is huge. Integrity is so important not only to the others that you're sharing your movie with, but it is so important to yourself. It is important for you to trust in yourself, for you to have confidence, and for you to just feel self-love. So if you practice being impeccable with your word, you're going to have to slow down and really feel things out before you answer from now on. And when you say you're going to something or you're going to do something, do it. I see people that constantly play the victim, like, oh, I really wanted to do that, but this thing came up, and I couldn't end up coming even though I committed to coming. Or, oh, I really wanted to help that person out, but then something distracted me, and or my husband wouldn't let me, or whatever. And they start to blame and project their issue on other people, which does not empower them. It keeps them enslaved as victims. And I feel that all of us on this planet, at our deepest level, we desire to come back into our power. We desire to feel capable and to feel that we have the power to fulfill whatever soul mission we're here to fulfill. So if you're practicing a habit of lying and not having integrity, and withholding the truth or twisting the truth or bending it, or straight up saying you're going to do stuff and then you never show up, what you're doing is you're teaching people to not count on you. You're teaching people to realize you're a liar and that you have no integrity, and you're teaching yourself that. And that is not a good thing to teach yourself. And it is a great way to become a victim and to be enslaved and to suffer, not a great way to feel powerful. So the first one is to be impeccable with your word. Maybe jot that one down if you got a notebook. The second is to not take anything personally. This one can be very tricky for people in the beginning because so much we have been taught to, react to people. I had a woman, a really beautiful soul, that just came, and she drove really far. She drove hundreds of miles this weekend to come up and have an auric clearing with me. And she came to my Empowering the Empath workshop. And the next day, her and her husband visited with me for hours. And like, what an amazing couple, like very sweet, sweet, beautiful souls. But this woman, as she went through her auric clearing, I, explained to her, as you're working through this, you are going to have things that you have been pushing down, energies that have been causing you suffering for a long time may start to come up to the surface so that you can address them, you can feel what you're learning from them, and you can clear them and release them from your life movie. So in an auric clearing, your whole life is not solved in one session. What it is you're starting to be trained to see in a new perspective. You're having a lot of heaviness cleared from the more subconscious levels that you're not even aware of, and it's bringing up all this energy that you have not addressed. So the reference that I get, the angels kind of give me a visual, is when you're having a clearing. Imagine lifetimes that you've been pushing and pushing and pushing emotions down below the surface because you didn't want to feel them. You're kind of numb it. Oh, I don't want to deal with that. Let's push that down. Ooh, that made me angry. Let's push that down. And so as you go through a clearing process, it's like you float on your back in the water, and all these buoys of energy that you've been pushing under the water and you've been struggling and wrestling to keep them down and protect them so no one sees they're there. Suddenly you're floating on your excuse me, you're floating on your back, and energetically, all those buoys pop to the surface because you can't hold them down any longer. Now, to a soul that's not practicing awareness, this could feel like chaos and it could feel very stressful. But if you're practicing awareness, when it pops up, whatever those emotions are, those energies are, all you have to do is look at them, see them for what they are. They're energy. They are energies that you have been holding down, that you've been attracting to you for a long time. Look into those energies. What are you here to teach me? What is this? So, interestingly, this woman I'm referring to, she had, right after her clearing, a woman from her past who she had made very clear boundaries to, who had had a reputation of kind of like slandering her name and was kind of reaching out to her friends and family and texting them things that weren't true. And the intention, it sounded like, from the way she expressed it to me, sounded like the intention was to cause a lot of harm and destruction for this woman because she had set a boundary and said, I don't want you in my life anymore. And I just don't feel like you treat me with respect. You don't have integrity. And I just really don't need this in my life anymore. So she made a statement about a month ago, I believe she said. And then after her clearing, this woman chimes back in and she's sending texts to her husband and to her sister and to her friends and family. And she called me today and she's like, holy crap, like, what the hell is that about? She was kind of upset about it, but she was like, this is just crazy. Like, I don't understand why this is happening. Like, what's going on with this woman? And what I told her was, we could play the game of what's going on inside of every human's mind, and that could be quite entertaining and take a long time to process all that. But the better question is, instead of me looking out of the eyes of what's going on with all them, what's wrong with that lady, like what the hell, what's making her act crazy? If we tune inward, okay, what is this energy that's coming to me again? What is this energy coming up so that I can see it? What does this energy represent? And when I helped her to see that, she was like, oh my God, that makes so much sense. This is an energy of betrayal. This is an energy where women have turned on me again and again and hurt me and said things that were hurtful and untrue. So when she could see it for what it was, it's an energy. It's one of those buoys she had stuffed down because she didn't know what to do with it. Well, boop, it's right in her face. And instead of getting angry and thrashing around in the water to try to get it away from her, if she could just look into it, which we did together, look into that and say, what is this energy representing and why is it coming up again? Okay, I now realize I was just doing an auric clearing. The intention was to release energies. This is one of those energies. It is coming up so that I can see it, I can understand and learn from what I've learned from this, and now I can release it and I can allow that buoy to float off in the water. I don't need to fight it. I don't need to prove myself to it. I don't need to justify myself or defend myself. I don't need to do any excessive energy. All I need to do is learn from it, thank it for the lesson, and then release it with love and light. I release this woman's energy with love and light. I release this energy of betrayal that has hurt me for so long. I release it with love and light. There is no resistance here. This is when a miracle happens because you're no longer creating resistance. You are releasing. You are honoring it. You're accepting it for what it is. And if we want to explore the mind of that other woman, I told her the simple way to look at humans, if you don't want to have judgment and get angry at them, is look at it for what it is. When you see a human lashing out and being angry and hateful and creating lies and disruption, this is a very fearful human. This is a human that is totally reacting and living with the influence of fear, and their anger and their fear are controlling them. They have an intense battle happening within themselves. And if you participate with that, if your ego gets triggered and now you're fighting back and forth, all they've done is now included you energetically and vibrationally in that. And now the two of you are creating karma together and you're creating this energetic exchange that is not very beautiful. So if we can see it with compassion, we can realize this is a woman that's hurting. She feels afraid and she feels rejected because this friend said, I don't want you in my life anymore. You're not treating me with respect. I'm setting a boundary. So, this friend who felt very much like they controlled this person suddenly has no control. What does ego do when it has no control? It's going to be nasty. It's going to say hateful things. It's going to behave in crazy ways. And that is about that woman. That is her choice. But the one it's happening to has a choice as well. She can participate, she can get angry, she can get defensive, or she can step back, take a breath, observe it for what it is. Why is this energy in my life? I now learn this lesson. I see that I have attracted this energy to me, and now I release and set it free. It is not about me, but it is an energy that was in my vibrational frequency that I'm now ready to fully release in all directions of time. That is a powerful moment. And as a soul chooses that moment to moment, we realize we don't need to be attached to each other. We don't need to be attached to people, to situations, to events, to expectations. It's not that important. What we need to do is stay aligned with our own source. We need to stay authentic and true and have integrity with ourselves. We need to stand in our power. I had another client, she's like 16 or 17. I think she's 17. Really amazing, angelic soul, but very sad, very depressed, had been through a lot of crap. And is one of these souls that so I could relate to her because when she would talk to me, it was like seeing myself as a teenager. This is such a sweet girl and so patient, but because she's been dealing with this abusive energy of a friend who really pushed her around, she bullies her, she controls her, she kind of like bribes her to do stuff. And this girl, because she's not in her power, she just lets this girl do this and she goes along with it and she resents it and gets angry, but she keeps letting people push her around. And so the same thing, I talked to her about it and I said, what would be different if you actually stood in your power? Can you imagine what that would feel like to tell this girl no when she's bullying you to do something instead of doing it and then hating yourself? What if you change that? What if you said to her next time, this doesn't feel right to me. And I'm not going to do anything anymore that doesn't feel right to me because I am going to love myself and I'm going to have the integrity and honor what feels right to me. That is my most important choice in every moment is to do that. And so I spoke with this girl last week and a situation came up where her friend was projecting on her and bullying her and kind of being nasty. And she just told her, I don't need you in my life anymore. Like, you do not treat me with respect. And I don't think it's good that we hang out anymore because I deserve people who honor me and who treat me with respect. Do you think this girl was happy about that? If you're waiting for them to be happy about it before you stand in your power, you're going to be waiting a long time because a soul that is used to pushing another soul around and taking from it energetically, most likely when that soul says enough is enough, the other one is going to be quite upset about that. And that's exactly what happened. This girl was angry. She was lashing out, calling her name, saying hateful things. And when she reached out and told me what happened, she said, Tanya, it felt really hurtful to hear her say all that nasty stuff to me. But at the same time, I feel so good about myself in standing my ground. I feel so good about the choice I made to clear her from my life because I feel like it's going to be so different now. And I was so proud of her because that's what it's about. It is not about if everybody likes us. If I worried every day if everyone liked Tanya, I would be freaked out. And I used to be when I was in my 20s. I was constantly like, "Oh, am I doing enough? Do they like me? I hope these people like me." Ironically, I attracted all the wrong people to me that didn't like me, and I constantly felt like I was performing to be enough. So if we do the work and we heal ourselves and realize, do I like me? If I like me, that means I have integrity. I'm impeccable with my word. I say what I mean what I say, I walk my talk. If I like me, I'm doing my best every day. I'm not taking things personal. I'm not making assumptions. My ego is clear. I have released ego because ego does not help me. It does not make me feel better or more confident. So that becomes the priority is, do I like me? Not do I care about what everyone else thinks about me? And interestingly enough, when you make this transition, the ones who you've had around you that were just taking from you seem to kind of fade away pretty quickly. But interestingly enough, these other souls will come in that suddenly show you the honor and the kindness and the love and the respect that you've always deserved, but you never let it in vibrationally because you were so focused on this other energy. You were so focused on proving yourself, on being enough, that that's all that you could let in. And so when we understand the laws of attraction, we really start to get into this place of energy where everything is about energy. It is not about if you're worthy or that person's better or were they born in this family or did this one get this accomplishment. That is all ego. What really starts to matter is vibrationally, how much do I love myself? Am I in alignment? Do I feel I deserve love? Do I feel I deserve abundance? Do I feel I deserve honor? Because once you understand that you do, and you do not tolerate less than that, everything changes. And yes, many people will leave your life if your whole life has been built, around people who take from you. Don't be sad and cry and freak out when a lot of people leave your life. Celebrate it. Celebrate it and send them love. Thank them for the lessons. When I went through a lot of transition in my own personal life, I remember it actually blew my mind how many people left my life. Um, Family, friends, you name it. But what I realized was what a relief it felt to actually not feel like I had to prove anything anymore, not feel like I had to perform. I could just be me. And if people really loved me, they came closer. And that was nice. And the ones who never really did, they took off, said nasty things on their way out, and I released them with love. When I used to fight it and I used to feel like I had to prove something, that was quite exhausting and it didn't clear the energy. They kept like coming around, coming around. And so we got to get to these places where, let's say you got a friend texting you hateful things, and you tell that person, I really deserve to be spoken to with respect. If you can't speak to me with respect, please don't text me again because this isn't kind. So let's say they do it again and they write you more hateful things. Now you can either honor yourself and you can block their number. You can do many things to actually show them that you're not going to tolerate it. But what I don't encourage is you to keep talking to them and to keep defending yourself and to keep texting them back and to go and tell other people to text. And it just creates so much drama. So if you can just speak your truth to someone and if they show you they do not honor your boundaries, from that point, make a powerful decision to clear them from your movie. Go and block their number. Call your phone company. Hey, could you block this number? This person's really, kind of terrorizing me and I don't need it. And I would really appreciate if you'd help me. And there's things we can do. And when you do that, I encourage you to go into meditation, connect with that person's energy, connect with the energy itself, not just the person. They're just an actor in your movie coming to trigger a pain that you need to face and deal with. But tune into the energy, the betrayal, the abandonment, the fear, the rejection, whatever that energy represents. Tune into it. Where is it in my body? Oh, it's in my heart. I feel tense. I feel anger right here. I feel hurt in my heart. So take some breaths, connect with that energy, and say to yourself, this is just an energy. This is an energy. It's an old energy, and it has been hurting me for a long time. What have I learned from this energy? I learned I am enough. I learned I do deserve to be treated with kindness. Thank you to all the souls that I had to draw into my life to teach this to me. Thank you. And I now release you all with love and light. I release this energy in all directions of time, and I deeply love and accept myself. This little mantra, you can do this any moment, any day, repeatedly through the day as energies rise and they don't feel good. Tune into them and release them. You don't have to cling to them. You don't have to fight with them. You don't have to shove them down and deny them or defend them or, try to collect them. I encourage you to learn instantly, feel it, connect and learn from it, and then release it and clear it from your frequency. As you do that, This is the process of ascension, and we rise and we rise and we rise. We keep evolving. One of the things the angels said to make a point of speaking about was that so many of us, as we're going through ascension, it's like we can get this really weird ego trip even about ascension, like I must ascend now, I must become the first to ascend. Whatever it's about, like whatever your imagination's telling you ascension is, that's causing your ego to tell you you're not doing it right and that you're not there yet, that's what you need to address and clear. Because all of us are on the process of ascension. All of us are in the process, as the angels say, the scientists call it evolution. It is the same thing. We are evolving. We are constantly evolving. We are constantly changing and growing and learning and moving in new directions. This will never stop. Like, this is the process of life in its simplest form, is constant evolution, constant expansion. So if we're not making it something that we're supposed to reach this destination, which is just what ego loves to tell you, oh, we got to go get that PhD and then we'll be happy. We got to go and get that guy and then we'll be happy. Let's go collect a bunch of stuff and then we'll be happy. If I have $1,000,000, then I can be happy. It's all that same ego thing. If I ascend faster than that girl, I can then be happy. If I can ascend and, go into a heavenly realm somewhere else, then I'll be happy. The truth is, choose to be happy now. Choose the joy and the happiness now. Choose gratitude now. And interestingly, when you stop fighting life, when you stop trying to run from life, when you stop trying to control life to make it go in a way you think it should, you are happy. You are so happy because you're free and you're letting everyone else be free. You're not trying to control where they go, how fast they go, but you can see them, you can observe them. From where I sit, I observe humans that suffer and I observe the humans that are in joy. I observe it all. But I don't need to race anywhere to be content and at ease. I don't need to get an accomplishment or an achievement to feel like I'm good enough. I am good enough. I am good. I am enough. I am deserving, period. And so are each of you. And so if we can start to see that instead of this spiritual thing, like we're not ascending right and we're not meditating right. We didn't chant Om the right way. We didn't use our mandala beads correctly. We didn't do our yoga posture right and breathe in the way the teacher said. It's all bullshit. If you're on a path to where you're actually practicing being impeccable and doing your best, that is the path, your best. So whatever your best is, that's it. If you're enjoying painting, and it doesn't even matter if it's going to be a painting you sell, that's joy. You just having fun painting. You're having fun dancing. You're having fun talking and laughing with your friend. I'm having fun on this internet show. Whatever happens with this will happen. But I don't need to chase something to feel like I'm enough. And that's the difference between a soul that is content and at ease and living in their power, living in their integrity, living their best, like doing their best, not taking personally what others have to say, and not making assumptions about what others think or are feeling. This is freedom. And so that's my goal, is to nudge each of you to take the pressure off, like lighten up, guys. Seriously, I was in the workshop. I am, I have a sense of humor, and a lot of times the angels will be speaking through me about really serious things that are not serious, but like important things. And then they'll drop a little joke, or suddenly there'll be something I'll say that'll lighten it. And even sometimes I'll drop an F-bomb and people are like, whoa, she just said that. And it's nothing to like judge or think, oh, there's something wrong, or how come we're not being so serious? We need to be more serious for this to be spiritual. That is what's so out of alignment, is that we do not have to be serious about any of it. It is relaxed playfulness is the path. The more relaxed and playful you are about everything you're connecting with, the more you will enjoy it. The more rigid and controlling and dogmatic you are about it, the more you will cause yourself stress and suffering. You'll probably have problems in your digestion. You'll probably have anxiety issues and heart problems because you are trying to control the universe. You're trying to control everything. And if you let your grip go and you let go of control and you just let yourself be vulnerable, you just let yourself live in the now. And yes, you'll dream, you'll have goals, you'll have things you would like to accomplish, but they'll come from a place of joy. They'll come from a place of hope, but not a place of desperation. Like, I need that in order to feel okay. I encourage you, if you want to have everything you've dreamed come to you faster, relax, let go, and just enjoy what you have now fully. Have deep gratitude for what you have now, and watch how everything you desire will come in very easily and naturally for you. Just something to try, little shift in perspective. Is there anybody writing in or commenting, Amnon?
Well, not nothing out of what you were talking about, but Ron
Well, what are they saying?
Ron is was saying that releasing negative energy is so important, and Tanya helps so much with that. And he says, speaking that truth to close family members when you were talking about the needing and all that is so hard for me. I want them in my life, but the negative energy is so disappointing at times. I love them though, but need them? Are That's what he said.
Exactly. And it's kind of like you get to a place where what he's saying is like, if there's family, you love your family and you care about them, you were raised with these people. But if you go around these family events and there's nothing but negativity and victim consciousness, and you have shifted a lot, this is where suddenly that birth family no longer feels right. And it doesn't mean that you have to judge those people or that they're bad people. It's just they don't match your frequency any longer. And so being around them may feel really uncomfortable or disruptive. And that's where we get to a place where we have to make conscious choices. Do we keep going around it and just feeling frustration and then we complain, which now we are now matching their vibration? Or do we choose to go there and hang out with them and just observe them and laugh? Like, look at them. They're freaking crazy. Like, look at what they're doing. But we laugh and have a sense of humor and we don't take it personally. Or do we just choose not to go around it because we realize it disrupts us? And so, therefore, we choose not to hang out with grandma or not to hang out with that dad that, is always negative and grumpy. We can send him love from a distance and wish him the best, but we don't have to participate. And that's something really important for us to realize. We have a right to choose, because as I see it, from what Source says to me, is that same thing I've said so many times on the show, is that we are not to be attached to role and title. We are here to live joyously and freely. We are here to live with liberation and freedom and expansion. So if I'm attached to my clients, I'm going to suffer, because if they don't behave the way I think they should, or they don't show up when they say they're going to show up, I'm going to be frustrated and angry at them, and I'm going to suffer. But if I realize, if they come in and I speak what I feel and it feels good and we're having fun, I'm going to keep doing that. If it stops feeling fun, if it stops feeling honorable, then I can change where I put my energy. I don't have to keep participating, in that place. Same with family. If I love being around my family and I feel like there's honor there and there's kindness, there's awareness, there's integrity, awesome, let's hang out. But the way I look at it is, all humans are potential family. I feel like we're all soul family in truth. We're all connected, yet we all participate with each other in a level of what we feel is in alignment, what we feel we accept. So for some of us, we participate with the most dark abuse and terrible energy. Like, some families treat each other horribly, but that's normal for them because they are very much, in a place where they've enabled that behavior. And so that's just normal. To a soul that is not used to that and they go around it, they might be like, what the heck? Like, I'm not going to hang out here. This is terrible. This is violent. And they don't have to hang out there. This is why there's all different soul contracts going on the planet right now. Different souls having a contract to work through this issue and situation in this time and space, for the purpose of expansion and growth and evolution. So even when I have clients that have been through a lot of darkness and hatefulness and people that have treated them badly, I help them to see, don't go into a victim consciousness. I mean, you can if you want to, but I encourage you not to. And if you can see it for what it is, this was a terrible experience, and I honor you, and I have the deepest compassion for your pain. At the same time, do you see how you were taught discernment? Do you see how Spirit brought you an opportunity to stand in your power. And in this situation, you didn't do that. And you don't need to judge yourself, but you just see that, yeah, I did not, live in my integrity. I did not live and in my alignment and stand up for myself. I just let them push me around, and I was pissed afterwards. And damn it. Well, this is a moment of teaching. It's a teachable learning moment. Next time that moment comes around, what are you going to do different? The recipe for insanity is to keep doing the same thing. And this is where families that are attached to each other and they tether themselves to each other, and they're like, oh, I get away with this because I'm grandma, or I get away with that because I'm your mother. I can do whatever I want. These are the families that create abuse and destruction because of their attachment and because of the lack of awareness of the ones participating. So all it takes is the soul to have awareness, and that soul can choose. I have a teenage girl living in my house now that lives with my son. It's his girlfriend. And she left her family's life. She left it, and it was torment there. And she had so much to heal. But as she moved into our environment, I could tell she was still very much looking for the fight and looking for the drama because that's what she was used to. But look at how much courage that soul had to leave it. And so, from my perspective, though it can be stressful to deal with the tension at times, as the mother of that situation and from the healer perspective, I would just help them and nudge them to come into that space of love, to come in that space of healing, to forgive and release the past, and to realize they're safe now. Because so many souls, when they've been in abuse, when they leave, even if they go into a peaceful environment, it's like they're still having like post-traumatic stress symptoms because they have not cleared that energy. So when I see a 17-year-old making so much effort and coming for an auric clearing and doing the healing work, I am so proud of that soul for the courage it takes to do that work, because I watch so many that they could be 60 years old and they still are doing that same pain body drama where they have not dealt with the pain. They have not dealt with the post-traumatic stress, those cellular memories that traumatize them and torment them. And it doesn't matter who you are on the planet. If you have energies you are not dealing with, they are affecting you, period. If you have cellular memory trauma that you have pushed below the surface and you think you're doing fine tricking everybody, but you suffer in silence, you're not tricking anybody because you're not really loving yourself. And I promise you, as you do the steps to heal and love yourself and to clear that old stuff, you are going to have an amazing life. And yes, things may change. You may leave families. You may move out of homes. You may leave jobs. You may have marriages that crumble. You may have relationships with best friends that you no longer connect with. And it is not the end of the world. It is the end of that vibrational cycle. So if you can stop seeing everything as like, I'm going to lose control of something and I'm going to lose something, and start realizing the very things you're clinging to that are causing you suffering are the very things that you would benefit so greatly in releasing. So if we can start kind of wrap our mind around that, how do we relax and let go of the control? How do we trust that the universe wants the best for us? And sometimes that means we have to release something. Sometimes it means we have to walk away from someone. We have to change something in the movie, and we have to not just walk away and then go date someone else just like them and continue the pattern and go back into a victim consciousness, but walk away from the energy and look at it, learn from it, forgive it. Not say it's okay it happened, but just forgive the fact that it hurt us so much and that we took it so personally, and then we release it and we let it go. And that is when miraculous shifts happen. I see it every day in my healing room. I am observing the most amazing miracles with the souls that I'm working with. And I see it on the planet of the souls that I see having the courage to actually have integrity and honor. It does matter. It is the most important thing. So I'm going to get to the next one. So I had be impeccable with your word. Don't take anything personally, which that really means that. Friends flipping out on you because you say, hey, I'm not going to be in your life anymore. You don't treat me good. And they're flipping out, calling you names. You don't take it personal because you realize that friend is in fear, that friend has lost control, and that friend's ego is spewing hatred because they're trying to hook you in any way they can so that they can drag you back down vibrationally with them in hell, in their own emotional vibrational hell. So if you don't take their spewing personally and you realize this is a very frightened, angry human that is hurting, I can send that human love and light and I can release them, and I don't have to take their behavior personally because it's nothing about you. It is about them. Even when they say all these good mushy things to try to get you to do things, those aren't even about you. Often those are things people are doing to try to get you to do things for them. So we got to really walk that fine line of alignment of how do I express love and receive love in an authentic way and not feel like I'm controlled or manipulated by other people's energy, be it negative or positive, meaning compliment or criticism. The next one is don't make assumptions. And this is a big one. How many humans will some girl looks at them in a way and they just make an assumption of like, oh my God, my friend totally just looked at me. And then they start talking about a bunch of drama with their other friend. And then they get this big story going. And big picture, that friend might have just like had a toothache and her face was a little scrunchy because she didn't feel good, but you took it very personally. And there's times where we can tell someone's sending an energy to us. That's fine, but still don't make assumptions. When I have people in my personal life that, put out an energy or a vibe that doesn't feel good, what I will do is I will go to them right away and address them. And I will just say, hey, is everything okay? Is there anything going on that you want to talk to me about? I just kind of picked up on a vibe, and if you want to talk to me, I just want you to know that you're free to express whatever you need to me. And usually this way, it's like not a threatening way. You just kind of give them the space to express. And if there is something bothering them, you just opened a door to let them know it's safe to come in and express that to you. And that is a much quicker way to understand what's going on in another human than to just make up a big story and then go tell all your friends about it and convince yourself how much it's true when really it's just you making assumptions. So, not making assumptions is a really powerful one. And the last one is always do your best. So, always do your best means really just that simply, always do your best. And I've observed clients, souls, family, friends that when they suffer, I watch them not do their best. They half ass things. They don't really try their best because they've already convinced themselves that they suck. They've already told themselves that that teacher sucks or those people suck or whatever they do, where they shut the door to connection. And so if you're not really doing your best, you're not going to necessarily fool there may be some people you fool that will think, "Oh, really she did try her hardest." But you never fool yourself. So if you're not getting a straight A, say you're in high school and you're not getting straight A's, that's fine. But if you're getting a bunch of F's and D's and you're not giving a damn and you're not trying, I told my kids that if they get an F on their report card, it is like they're saying fuck you to their teachers. And that may sound harsh, but I really believe if you're actually trying, if you are doing your best, it is impossible to get an F because an F is really, you're not trying. You have decided it sucks and you're not even tuning in and listening. And so, really, this is going to be a downfall for that person's evolution as well as the ones that are trying to teach them. If I talk to a soul, say I'm at a party and somebody's kind of like, oh, spirituality sucks, and like, angelic healer, pff, whatever, that sucks. There's no such thing as angels. They've already decided that they've shut the door on that, and there is no chance that that shit could be real. So they're not going to try. They're not going to tune in. They're not even going to look at me or treat me with respect or honor because, it's bullshit. It doesn't even matter. And so they're not trying their best. They're not actually being open and receptive. I feel like trying your best means being open and receptive. If I am open and receptive, which I am really good at just about anything I do. Is that a coincidence? Is that because Tanya's just special and she has gifts? No, I'm open and I'm receptive. Being that way means that I learn more and I grow and I understand more because I'm not shutting any doors. I'm not saying that's stupid, that's impossible, I don't want to know about that, that sucks. If I'm walking around with that attitude, it's most likely that I feel like I'm failing at a lot of things. And because of it, I start to feel fear. I start to feel inadequacy. My self esteem will start to be affected by it. And others will start to pick up on that. If I walk into a classroom and I decide the teacher sucks before I even really open up to learn anything, that teacher is feeling my energy as much as I'm feeling her energy. So she's probably feeling a little resistant and a little uneasy, even trying to help me, because I've already decided it sucks and that she sucks. So if we look at how we do this with each other and with situations, we could see how these agreements will change our life so much. We don't need to be perfectionists, but we do want to learn how to master things. We want to learn to be the master of our emotions, to be the master of our experience, to be the master of our dreaming, the master of our creation. And in order to do that, in order to align with the mastery, these agreements are going to serve you. You're going to need to really understand them and stop taking things personally. Stop lying to people. Stop lying to yourself. Be impeccable with your word. You got to release the need to make assumptions, and you've got to start doing your best. And that really means doing your best, not this half assed stuff anymore. And you do know the difference. And no matter what is going on, you are not fooling yourself. And so I feel like the big picture, what I see is the people who have the happiest lives, the most joyous experiences, they're the ones that are the most open and receptive. They're compassionate. They're wise. They observe the world around them. They're in observation mode. And and they're not walking around, projecting on people and shaming them and trying to be victims. They're just living their simple lives of creation and they're enjoying it. They're having fun. They're playing. They're laughing. They're taking it easy. And there's really no need to make spirituality and to make ascension and evolution this painful process. The only thing that will cause that to be a painful process is your very own attitude and your very own ego and your ways of looking at it. The ways that when we shift our perspective into a more aligned way of seeing, the things we see change. If we're looking at things in a very closed down, rigid way, then we're going to experience it that way. So if you have been struggling, and when we get into ascension, like there are symptoms that we can feel, like there's times our bodies feel a lot of energy. And so I was kind of explaining to some of the girls at the workshop the other night, like when we are being uploaded, and some of you will know instantly what I mean by that, and others may hear that and go, what does that mean? So if you're at nighttime laying in bed and you cannot fall asleep and you just feel very awake, but your body, you're tired, but your mind is so awake and aware, and it's like being uploaded with information. We need to just rest and receive, be open and receptive, rest and receive the energy. And what I do is I thank my angels. I'll kind of laugh at them like, wow, I guess we're being uploaded again. And it's kind of the way I referred to it to a client the other day was like, when you get your cell phone and you're updating the apps on your cell phone, you need to go put your phone down and plug it in and just charge it and let it rest for a little bit, because nothing really works right when it's doing that, because all the energy is going towards uploading the consciousness of that phone. The cell phone, the information, think of it as consciousness. So as that phone is being uploaded and all this new information is coming in and being updated, it's being organized and put where it needs to go, and then it's going to be processing. And in the morning when you get on the phone, you're like, oh, I can use this app and it works even better than before. Suddenly, I've got this new game on my phone. Now I've got this new wisdom that I can tune into and access. That is exactly what's going on with humans. So when we're going through ascension and we're uploading and we're pushing and we're working too hard, and we're jumping on the hamster wheel with our ego telling us we have to go do a bunch of stuff, we are going to feel a lot of suffering. We will suffer. We will feel anxious. We'll have tension. We might get headaches. We might start having heart palpitations and just anxiety. And so when that's happening, the best thing you can do is to go rest. Think of how you treat your cell phone. You would let it rest while it updates its apps. Let yourself do the same. If you need to get up in the morning, rather than go into fear, oh, I'm not going to get enough sleep. Damn it. It's like 3 a.m. and I'm going to be so tired. Don't make those affirmations anymore. That's victim consciousness. Be in your power the whole time. Angels, thank you for uploading me. I'm open and receptive to receiving. And thank you for making sure that when I wake up in the morning, I am on full charge, that my battery is fully charged and I am ready to go. And thank them for that. Go into the request of what you desire, not the fear of what you don't desire. Laws of attraction are working and in effect at all times. So this is a way that we can upload ourselves, rest and recharge, and then wake up feeling vital, revitalized, and feel, full of energy because we've affirmed it. We did not go into fear. If we are, let's say, out and about in our ears, we start feeling like weird popping in our ears, or like the other day I was sitting in a workshop and the women were talking and they were just going and, expressing stuff. And I was tuning in because I was trying to help one of the women understand something. And so I was really listening to her and listening to spirit. How do I help her grasp this? And suddenly it's like someone hit a mute button and all the sound in my physical reality went away. I could not hear them, but I saw them talking, and my right ear was like, whoo, tuned into some other dimension. And it was like, seriously, like tuned in far away. And I suddenly was accessing consciousness of exactly what to say to this woman. And once I understood, okay, that's what we're going to say to her, boom, it's like the mute button got unmuted and I suddenly could hear all the women talking again. So if something like that's happening for you, that's an ascension symptom. This is us living in multidimensional realities now where we are accessing different levels of consciousness, different realms of consciousness. And when we are in this now moment, this physical reality is not the only reality. And we're starting to realize that. Some of us are starting, like, I'll be looking at clients and they're talking, and I have this deja vu, like, this has happened before. Oh, I dreamt of this meeting. We already had this. And I see that person, like, waves of energy around them, and they like start pixelating, almost like I'm looking at a movie, a computer screen. And I realize this is not as real as we're all giving it credit. This is like our own holographic universe. We are projecting our own hologram of our reality. And not to get too deep on that, that may be something we'll go deeper into on another show. But just to help you understand that at this time of ascension, we as humans are shifting, we are changing. The veils are thinning and being pulled back to where we are accessing different realms of consciousness and information. We are tuning in, we are able to see angels, see spirit guides, see and feel energy a lot stronger and more instantly. Telepathic communication is really amplifying right now. So a lot of times I'll be with people and I'm just reading what they're thinking in their minds, or communicating with animals or babies. They love to talk this way, and it's how we really naturally communicate. So a lot of us are starting to remember that, and we may start having these telepathic moments. So are you crazy? No. Some of you maybe feel like if you're not working with someone and you're not going and working out your spiritual muscles, then you may feel like they're kind of weak and they don't make sense. And that's where you can start to go into fear and you start feeling like something's wrong with you. I encourage you to find a mentor in your area to work with, someone you trust, someone that you feel is of a high vibration, and work with them, connect with them. Go and have healing sessions with them. Go to workshops that they've set up specifically to help you. A lot of people, what gets me is how many people complain and are suffering, and how many absolutely ignore the availability of assistance that's right in front of them. How many make excuse after excuse not to get the help, not to go and ask for the help. And that's a subject in itself that I've sensed so many healing clients and family members that I see. There's like this fear of asking for help, like they need to know how to do it all on their own. And that's silly. Why do you feel that spirit even manifested mentors and healers and teachers? It's because they chose to come here to help you. They chose to walk through those experiences just like you did, and to heal them and to transcend them and to come into a place of mastery so that they could assist humanity in shifting those very things. So if you feel like you're failing because you're asking for help, that is your ego at work on you. You need to really look into how the ego tries to trick you out of the very help you need and cause you to suffer alone. That is optional, and you absolutely have every right to continue suffering on your own and doing everything by yourself. Go for it. But Spirit brought different beings into the world for different reasons to help us, and there is nothing weak about asking for help. And I feel like a lot of us, if we've been in ego mode for a long time and we feel like we've had to do everything ourselves, we kind of celebrate this like, I'll do it myself. And even if it means I suffer, and even if I'm confused and I'm lost and I have to be fake to the world to let them think I know what I'm talking about, I will just suffer alone because I don't want people to think that I need anybody. And that's ridiculous. I see as myself as a healer, I need others, they need me. We are all interconnected. There is a purpose to all of our experiences. Without the ones that are ready for the assistance and the understanding, I would have nothing to do. And without me needing to understand my guidance, others would have nothing to do. We are here to give and to receive from each other. We're all interconnected. And if we really honor that, we can start making use of the gifts that are around us instead of procrastinating them. So that's my message for today. And I hope that was helpful. If you don't have the book for the Four Agreements by Miguel Ruiz, I encourage you to get it or to go, pick it up at the library. If you do have it, pull it out again and read that again. Remind yourself. Maybe print something out and put it on your mirror just to remind you, in your car or your bathroom, to remind you to stay in the alignment of these agreements. And I would love to hear from you guys as you play with this. Let me know how you see your movie shifting. And if any of you are wanting to work with me as a healer, give me a call and we can work over the phone, over Skype, or in person. Just give me a call and we'll figure out what's the best thing that you need. But I wish you guys all the best. I know that you have the power in you, and I know that you each are amazing and amazing, creators. You just need to start accessing things in a more aligned way, and then you'll really see how powerful you are. So I hope all this message helped you today. I hope that you will go to my Facebook or go to my YouTube channel and follow us there under Tawnya Angel. On Facebook, it's under Tawnya Love. And go and share the videos with your friends and family. If this video was helpful for you, share it, pass it on. Don't just go and be frustrated because your family doesn't get it. Maybe they're not going to hear it from you. Sometimes a family member or a friend, a husband, a wife, they need to hear it from someone neutral, and they may hear it more fresh than if you're just telling them again and again and they feel like that you're nagging them. So if you feel like there's someone that this video could benefit, or any of the videos, I really encourage you to share them. That's what they're being created for. So help me out, guys. Go and share these videos. I really would very much appreciate that. And we can help this world heal one person at a time. So thank you so much for tuning in. And is there any last questions or comments, Amnon?
No, Jeff says, thank you, Tawnya.
Thank you, Jeff, for tuning in. And thank you, Ron, and whoever else is out there watching. I thank you so much. And I wish you guys all a very blessed week. And let's live this one with all these agreements in alignment. What do you say? So have a great week, guys. And I will talk with you all soon. Namaste.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. Our weekly lineup of call-in programs includes Computers 2K Now with Amnon Nissan, Health In with Debbie Bruck, Breaking Free with Marilyn Shannon, Lessons of Vietnam with NCVVI members, The Tawnya Love Show, Your Healthy Pet with Gisela DiCarlo. And if you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it at www.nissancommunications.com. Sponsored by Atomus.com, makers of quality video recorders and converters for professionals, CarolinaApparel.com, and DeltaForce.net.